I believe that authentic leadership and authentic living arises not by the actions of a man himself, but by the actions of that same man against the backdrop of the entirety of humanity and always in touch with that humanity. That's what the difference is. If you're a leader, you lead yourself internally. You also most likely lead others. And in doing that, one of the things that you're always going to want is the ability to have all of the possible alternatives at hand so you can respond to what those are. And when you have living by the map of concepts and you respond knee-jerk and unconsciously without thinking about them, then what you do is you cut yourself out of the possibility of your own internal maturity, and you also cut those that you may be leading out of the possibility of being led somewhere that you can't even see as a result of this concept hiding everything else.
Alan Shelton is a living example among those who know that there is no difference between leadership and personal maturity. It is from this perspective that Alan wrote Awakened Leadership, a groundbreaking book offering readers a path beyond self-discovery to liberating freedom.
At one point in time in my career, I found myself in that same place. I had done everything that I was supposed to do. But the thing is that internally, I felt that I was miserable. There wasn't something that needed to happen, and I didn't know exactly what that was. And so what I decided to do was, with that felt sense of misery or bondage or whatever you want to call it, I thought, hey, I need to find somebody who's been in this place before. I need to find some writing, some wisdom, anything where I can possibly tap in and understand what the next step is. And what I found out is the next step is what we call vertical learning. When someone typically becomes a seeker, I call them a seeker, that's someone who says, you know, I have filled my life with all this horizontal knowledge. I go to everybody that I talk to, and what they tell me to do is to learn more content. And I've learned a lot more content. In fact, a lot of times there are arrows in my quiver for things that I do. But internally, there's a sense that somehow I'm stopped, that somehow there's not a movement that's happening. And that particular sense is the driver to the human being to begin to look at things a little differently.
From his experience advising large multinational companies, organizations like IBM, Sunkist, and Toyota, and working with early-stage organizations that launched his highly successful merger-acquisition career, Alan now works as a leadership coach with clients like VF Corporation, University of San Diego, and Celgene, encouraging their leaders to live more authentically in the global corporate world.
Authenticity lies and exists in the corporate world just the same way as it does in any other. And I know that a lot of times the news says the big bad Darth Vader corporate people. But you look at the best companies, you look at the people that are their leaders. They're not bad guys, they're not bad women. Those people really, really want to expand. They want to be mature. And that's the kind of leadership that you're seeing being delivered into the corporate world right now. And all this is my version of exactly the same thing. In today's world, what is there more of than there ever has been of before? Information. You can get information, you can get content, you can get stuff. You can get more stuff than you've ever gotten before. There are opinions. You know, anybody that can tweet has an opinion, you know, and will tweet it out. And not only that, they will retweet somebody else's too, just for kicks, you see. So if you don't have an opinion right now, get someone else's tweet it until you get one. So the reality is we live in this world of incredible content. And in a certain way, what's happening is that the onslaught of that very content is calling out for a different kind of response. And that kind of response is the experiential. It's the standing in that space and saying, you know what, the natural movement of human energy is towards expansion. It's out of this ego definition that operates by rote memory based on information that's fed into it. It's a different thing. Yes, it's uncomfortable, and in fact, someone who's been in the hole will tell you, you know, climbing out of this hole, it's not gonna be fun. So you know, it's uncomfortable, doesn't feel good. So here's your choice. When it doesn't feel good, you can drop back down in the hole and start collecting more notes, or we'll get out of the hole. We'll do one of those two.